Welcome back, my amazing second grade artists. For this project, we'll be focusing on the artist Claude Monet. Claude Monet was known as the father of the Impressionist painting period. Claude Monet lived on beautiful acres of land in France, and he had a beautiful garden which also had a beautiful pond in the background that he used for a lot of inspiration for his paintings. In his pond, he had tons of water lilies that grew, and he ended up painting hundreds of paintings and drawings of water lilies. Before we get started on our project, let's watch a little video I created about Claude Monet. Now that we know a little more about Claude Monet, it's time for a Claude Monet-inspired water lily sculpture, and this is part 1. Our learning goal for this project is we're creating a sculpture, and a sculpture is when we produce a work of art through sculpture that is 3-dimensional and utilizes different techniques. Our learning targets for this project are, I can use movement in my art, and I can create sculptures using different materials. The materials you'll need for today for part 1 are some aluminum foil, some scissors, and a Sharpie. Remember that you can always choose to print or download the directions as well. All right, boys and girls, let's get started.
All right, so this is just regular aluminum foil that you probably have around your house. So you're going to need a long rectangular piece of foil to start. And what I'm going to have you do is you are going to create we're going to cut, and if you don't have scissors, you could tear part of your aluminum foil. But what you're going to do is you're going to create 1, 2, 3, and 4 lines that we're going to cut. So if you want to use a pencil or a marker to draw your lines first before you cut them, you can, but you're going to need 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to take your scissors, or if you don't have scissors, you could rip along those lines, and I want you to cut or rip. And you're not ripping the whole way up the paper. See how I stopped? I left about an inch space. So I left a nice space at the top so that I wouldn't go all the way to the top. We don't want to cut them all the way off. We want to keep them kind of attached. All right, so now we have our lines cut or torn, and we're ready to start. So for each section, we're going to start at one of them. We're going to fold them, and then we're going to crinkle them just a little. So again, I'll show you what I've done. Because we're going to do it to all of these. So we're going to get a lot of practice. So what you're going to do is, what I do is I kind of fold it a little, and then I fold the other part just a little, and then I crinkle just a bit. So again, we fold towards the top to the center, crinkle just a bit. We're going to do it again over here, crinkle just a bit, So what we're kind of creating is, it almost looks like we're creating some triangles on here, some triangular shapes, which we really are actually. So you should have, when you're finished, 5 triangular shapes. And right now, if you turn it sideways, it looks like a crown. So if it looks like a crown, you did it right. But we're going to fold, and I don't want you to cut these out because we don't want them to be too rough, because then we may cut ourselves, and we don't want to cut ourselves. So we just bunch them towards the side. All right, so once you've bunched them, we're gonna start at the bottom. So now we're gonna put it like it's a crown. And I want you to, we're gonna just take this piece of foil and we're going to fold it, press it down just a little, and we're just giving it some extra reinforcement so it doesn't break, because we don't want it to rip. Tin foil is flimsy, so be very careful. You may need to practice it a couple times. So what you've done now is we have created this part of the bottom, because we want this bottom again to be nice and sturdy. So it's now sturdy. All right, now we're ready to start creating our lily. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna turn it, and we're gonna go from the bottom part, and we're going to very nice and carefully, we're going to start to roll it. So we're rolling it carefully, carefully rolling. I'm not pushing it too hard. Carefully rolling it. And we're gonna take each one of our petals and we're gonna now open up our lily. So I want you to open your lily, opening your lily, open your lily. You could open it the whole way, there we go. And we have now created a tin foil lily flower. So now if you would like, we've created our tin foil lily. Now if you want, you could take another piece of foil, and let's see, we would need a square, more of a square shape than a rectangle. So you could take a square shape of another piece of aluminum foil, and I'm going to show you how to create a lily pad. So now we just cut it towards the center. So just a little, see how I have it just a little, it's like it has legs. And we're gonna fold these 2 pieces out. Okay, and now we're just going to kind of fold the side, and maybe we're gonna crunch these 2, because lily pads have kind of a crease to them. And now we have a lily pad for our water lily to sit on, if we so choose.
Don't forget to put your project in your art box until next week. All right, see you next time.